Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are focusing pretty heavily on CBS. You may have already seen, or may be seeing in the future, the video I did about Barry Weiss and the news division. Today, I want to talk more about Stephen Colbert and the facts that his ratings have just been continuing to collapse embarrassingly in a way that I didn't think was possible and still get to keep your job kind of way. In fact, let's take a look at it. Here we go. Now, from my good friend over at That Park Place, Marvin Montanaro, we've got this amazing story. Stephen Colbert ratings collapse to record lows as The Late Show nears cancellation. Now, we already knew it was this dope's last year, and we were grateful. We were happy. Goodbye to The Late Show and this low IQ, low information promotion machine. He's not very funny, he's not very bright, and he's rarely ever accurate. In fact, it would have probably been better for him over his entire career to just do the deadpan parody of a conservative for as long as he could have possibly stuck it out. I mean, you have to remember, he got his start on a genuine comedy show with genuinely smart people by parodizing a lot of other conservative material. He did it very well. He had some very good writers, clearly, and that was where his career should have stayed and been refined and further crafted. But instead, he fell into what I see as a guy that wants to report the news, misinforming people, and trying to say it's humor. I think this guy has some real problems. But Marvin says that the Colbert ratings freefall has reached an undeniable breaking point. As The Late Show with Stephen Colbert approaches its already announced cancellation, the program now posts record low January numbers, marking one of the steepest late-night declines in recent television history. According to the Nielsen Big Data reported this week, Colbert's show is averaging roughly 285,000 viewers in the crucial 25 to 54 demographic. Again, being in the demo means you're being in the money. And the problem is 250,000 people isn't enough consumers that the advertisers are looking for, especially for a show that costs this much money. Sorry, it's just not good enough. This is putting the show up for its worst January performance ever in the category that advertisers actually care about. With just months left before the curtain closes for good, the ratings trajectory suggests viewers have been checking out long before CBS formally pulls that plug. While total viewership erosion has been gradual over the last several years, the collapse in the 25 to 54 demo tells the real story. Late night television lives or dies by that number specifically. The Colbert's January performance places him firmly near the bottom of the competitive pack, and there really aren't that many people to go around at the time of night that this guy's on TV. The show's demo average now sits far below what the franchise once delivered during its peak years, and even trails where The Late Show performed during periods widely considered transitional or unstable. In practical terms, this means fewer ad dollars, weaker affiliate confidence, and little justification for long-term investment. Not that anybody was going to invest in this guy ever again. I mean, maybe somebody will pay him somewhere, but I have a feeling he's going to go down the path of Keith Olbermann and find himself in the past of least influence, and nobody cares.
Here's a tip. Eat something.
That burning from within, it's called hunger.
And what has this actually led to? Well, I would say justification. Cancellation no longer feels abrupt. It feels inevitable, and it feels like well-timed as far as I'm concerned. CBS previously framed the cancellation of Late Night with Stephen Colbert as a financial decision rather than a creative one. The January Colbert ratings collapse makes clear that those financial pressures are themselves a direct result of audience rejection. As viewership, particularly in the demo, continues to erode, the show becomes increasingly difficult to justify economically, turning declining interest into an unavoidable business problem. This guy's always been a problem as far as I know, but he just got too big for his glasses and then decided to go full mad out. That's my opinion.
You may have heard today that my colleague and friend Keith Olbermann was temporarily suspended from his job hosting Countdown on this network because he made 3 personal political donations to candidates in this last election cycle.
With Colbert's final shows scheduled for May, so we're coming up on it, guys, the ratings collapse has reframed the narrative entirely, and it directly contradicts the wave of progressive outrage that followed the cancellation announcement. In fact, it's basically evaporated. Nobody cares that this guy and this show is about to be gone, and that's a good thing. Many left-leaning voices rushed to denounce CBS's decision as politically motivated, even attempting to cast it as a retaliation linked to President Trump. But the January numbers tell a far less ideological story, an unmistakable audience collapse. And before everybody jumps to the conclusion that I'm already prematurely dancing on this guy's grave, I'll just say it this way. This is the time of year and in the news cycle and in the political cycle when there are far fewer eyeballs focused on the television, especially for newscasts. We usually pay attention in big election years every other year. This is not one of those, which has led to the downfall of ratings across all of news. But in this one key area, you can usually maintain some momentum. And when it comes to late night comedy, this guy just plain doesn't deliver, and his ratings are paying for it. But hey, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Do you think that they prematurely canceled Colbert? Do you think that they foresaw what was going to happen even before they sold the network to Skydance? Do you think that Colbert led to his own destruction and downfall? Or do you think it's just the overall death of the late night genre that everybody is suffering from right now? With all that said, let me know your thoughts on any of those things down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, share this video around, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. But not watching Colbert.